to the programme. And of course, the COVID inquiry we've been covering the last couple of weeks because it's been talking about the vaccine injured. But you want to focus on the wonderful Hugo Keith KC, who is one of the barristers involved in the inquiry.
I do, and thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Lovely to see Patrick in the studio, by the way. And yes, the COVID inquiry, we know it has many failings, but last week we showed you a clip of Ruth O'Rafferty from the Scottish Vaccine Injured Group getting interrogated by this barrister. But who is he? So I want to introduce you to Hugo Keith KC. He's a real fighter. He's immensely impressive. He's currently the lead counsel to the UK Public COVID Inquiry 19 pandemic. He's the joint head of chambers of the 3 Raymond buildings, and he's actually ranked in 7 categories in current Chambers and Partners guides. So what does he actually do? Well, he's been involved in a lot. He's been involved in the Diana, Princess of Wales inquest. Now, I want you to make a note, 2008 that was. 7/7 bombings, Mark Duggan, Alexander Litvinenko, Westminster terrorist bombings, and he came from Magdalen, by the way, Oxford, have to tell you that. But who's he represented? Some big names there. Princess Anne. He was representing the Queen at the Diana inquest. Yet again, I'm just going to make that note. That was 2008, and he got silk in 2009. I wonder if it was anything to do with how he represented the Queen. Not that I'm a conspiracy theorist or anything. He's also represented, he's been involved in the case of Mark Duggan. He's worked with Leave UK, Leave EU, Airbus, Chelsea FC. I mean, he is a stellar. He is literally top of the bar at the moment. But what do the Lancashire Telegraph say? They say exactly the same. He is star at the bar. But when I went to look at other nicknames that he has, I noticed in the Standard, they are referring to a Telegraph article that's actually behind a paywall. So I decided to use the Standard because his nickname is Attack Dog. Now, he is really an attack dog. However, he seems to be a docile dog when he's questioning his witnesses, and he seems to be an attack dog when he's questioning the vaccine injured. So I put out a tweet on X, and I'd been listening to him speaking to June Rain, and I was very interested in the way that he words things. So I asked, basically, have the public, or he's asked if the public have been given a different vaccine to the one that was manufactured. But he worded it in a way where Dame June Rain was almost led to her response. And I just want to show you the reply from Dr. Claire Craig again, because Dr. Claire Craig, who replied to this little clip, which we're going to show you in a minute, she said he does not ask if process 1 and process 2 were the same. He asks if the batches tested by the MHRA, which he calls process A, were the same as batches given to the public, which he calls process B. This was his second time avoiding the issue. She went on to say in a further tweet, specifically about Ruth, she says, Ruth from Scottish Vaccine Injured Group was shut down by him when she tried to raise it. And then she thanked the person that had noted it. So I want you to see this little clip, because this little clip I put on Twitter has now had over 400,000 views. So have a look and see what you think about Hugo Keith's line of questioning to Dame June Rain, and listen to her answer. She's on oath.
Some have suggested that the batches which were delivered to the United Kingdom for use amongst its population, which were then handed out, were not the same batches, or rather were batches that were produced by a different manufacturing process on the part of the manufacturer, as had been tested by the MHRA. So, bluntly, the suggestion has been made, you tested and authorised and certified a certain number of vaccines made by manufacturing process A, and then the manufacturers actually delivered vaccines to the British population produced as a result of a different manufacturing process and one by inference which had not been tested. Is that right?
Well, my understanding is that the manufacturing process would have been the same.
Looked nervous, didn't she? And in Extra, we'll be showing the wonderful Charlet Crichton, who gave evidence this week. And we'll be speaking to Ruth in a minute. Back to you, Mike.
Thank you very much, Debbie. As you say, we will be speaking to Ruth in a minute. So if you like what the UK column does, though, and you'd like to support us, support.ukcolumn.org is the place to go. There are options to help us out there. You can make a donation. You could join us as a member, which give you access to extra programming and so on. You can support us by buying something at the UK column shop, or if you pick something up at clive2carl.com, we do get a small percentage of that, although it doesn't cost you any more. But if you can't do any of that, that's absolutely fine. But please do share anything that you see on the UK column website that takes your fancy, because we need to get around the censorship regime as best we possibly can. Now, yesterday, the interview that I did with Carl Zha went out, and if you haven't seen that yet, please do watch it. So we're trying to give a little perspective on China, maybe to counter some of the narratives that we're hearing from Donald Trump and from Nigel Farage at the moment. So if you are interested in that, do watch and share that one if you possibly